If I told you this Mercedes had 326 brake horsepower, an 0 to 60 of 4.7 seconds, and a limited top speed of 155 miles an hour, what sort of badge would you be expecting on the back? Myself, I'd expect a E43 or E53 AMG logo proudly slapped across the boot. But no, this is no AMG. This is a E400 diesel. It's a model not that sought after in the UK, and I have to ask why. Let's find out. My name's Tom, and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Before we start, please like, subscribe and hit the bell if you'd like us to keep bringing you this content. Also, don't forget to follow our socials for updates on our stock. Links in the description below. Now, the engine in this is the 2.9 litre inline 6 from the Mercedes S-Class. It's buttery smooth and extremely torquey. In fact, it deploys its full 700 Nm of torque from just 1200 RPM. That, combined with the 4MATIC system, makes this quite the wolf in sheep's clothing. Let me show you with the 30 to 70 sprint. Now, looking at this thing, you'd think it's just a regular E-Class, and I love that because it most certainly isn't. We managed 4.71 seconds, and to put that in perspective, that's faster than a Mark III Ford Focus RS, a VW Golf GTI, and only 0.2 seconds off of a Mercedes A35 AMG. Safe to say, this is a bit of a rocket. And whilst you're rocketing down the motorway, you can enjoy the finer things in life that this E-Class offers. This is an AMG line Premium Plus trim. That means you've got almost everything bar adaptive cruise control, which actually is kind of a shame, as it's one of the options I'd really like to see in this. The interior itself, though, is a very nice thing indeed. Swathes of leather mixed with ambient lighting present two massive displays mounted in front of the driver. The controls on the wheel can be hard to use for some, but once accustomed you'll feel right at home. The rear of the E-Class is where you feel the extra space over the C-Class. You have vast amounts more room in every direction when compared to its little brother. So if you're carrying passengers on the daily, then it's well worth considering this E-Class over the C-Class. Moving to the boot, you'll find a cavernous area large enough to fit most things you're going to be carrying. Obviously, being a saloon means you can't really carry things like fridges and washing machines, but fold the seats down in this thing and you'll be surprised at just how much it can swallow. Okay, time for some driving, I think.
You could call me my face has come off. Jesus. I feel my license evaporating out of the wallet. She's a fighter. Feel that massage seat realigning my scoliosis. Now then, whilst the Mercedes E220 is a fantastic car, very efficient, very comfortable, very nice to live with, this E400 feels like it's in a totally different class. And it's weird because it's still an E-Class saloon, yet somehow it feels heftier, thicker, more premium to drive. Even going over bumps, it feels different, even with the same suspension. It's just very odd. It's like the weight of the engine has almost made this car denser, stronger. And in turn, it makes it feel a lot more expensive, which is very odd. I mean, it almost feels like they must have changed something. It's like there's more sound deadening. The build quality is better, like it's made in a different factory by more qualified engineers. It really is odd. And I will admit, I am not the biggest Mercedes fan. However, when you get to a certain price bracket, e.g. just below proper AMGs, you start to notice differences in quality. Things feel slightly better put together. Engines transform the way cars drive. You know, unlike, say, a 420D compared to an M440i. That's a BMW, by the way, if you don't know. But in Mercedes cars, there is something that feels genuinely different. It's really almost quite hard to explain, because you're looking at the interior and it's the same as, you know, any other E-Class. This is just AMG Line Premium Plus. It's a nice spec car, but because of the engine, it feels like there's more going on. Like the steering almost feels different. It's really quite odd. But this, I mean, this is a fantastic cruising vehicle. You've got soft suspension, which just irons out all the bumps. You've got light but precise steering. Throttle pedal and brake pedal are easy to modulate. And that steering column shifter is just so nice to use. Makes the car just that much easier to drive. In terms of parking this thing, being a AMG Line Premium Plus car, we've got the 360 camera, nice and high resolution, good refresh rate, lines telling you where you're going to go, and parking is pretty easy. You've got a lot of steering lock, very accurate parking sensors. The only downside to this car is it is quite big. You know, it's like a BMW 5 Series or an Audi A6, so driving it around town is a little bit annoying sometimes. If you're going down smaller lanes, you sometimes have to let people go where you wouldn't in like a 3 Series or a C-Class. But I have to say, it is kind of worth it in this. This does feel really nice. And this engine just allows you to waft. You can't do that with a 2-litre diesel. You can't waft. Like half throttle out of here, 4MATIC system just rockets you down the road. And this thing, like you say, like if you said BMW 335D, most people know that's an absolute rocket ship for a diesel car. You say Mercedes E400D, and people kind of go, "Oh yeah, it's probably quite quick, but you know, it's not going to be like a 335D quick." And then you get behind the wheel of this thing, and you think, "Oh, actually, it kind of is." This is a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing, this car. Well, that cyclist was going to go across the road then. Wouldn't surprise me if he did. Most cyclists seem to like cutting people off in traffic. Anyway, let's reset our trip computer and see what kind of MPG we can get on the motorway. This is supposed to do 57 miles per gallon combined. Can get up to 64 according to Mercedes, although I think that's a bit of a reach. Maybe if you're sitting at exactly 60 miles an hour going slightly downhill. Before we do that, before we get on the motorway that is, okay then, into Sports Plus. There we go, ESP in Sports Plus as well, that's what we like to see. Just going to see how this multi-clutch transmission reacts. See if it's as good as a ZF8 speed. I don't think it will be, but they're still pretty good transmissions, I think. Alright, let's wait for this van to get out of the way and give it some. That 4MATIC system just flings you down the road. You can see just how fast this thing is. This car is no joke. Look at that pulling power. That's where diesels are good. They go from 50 to 70 like that, just instant. And the chassis underneath this I actually really like. Whoa. Mr. Van driver driving like an absolute C-word. But anyway, back to the chassis. It's very good in this. You can kind of feel where the E63S has kind of evolved from. You've got a nice balance. It doesn't tend to want to oversteer as much as it wants to just stay neutral in a corner and just do like really fast lap times. That's where having this 4MATIC system combined with a lot of torque means you can go around corners surprisingly quickly despite this car's weight. And it does mean it's kind of engaging to drive, even for like a diesel. It's pretty good. But what this car's even better at is munching miles on the motorway. So let's do some of that. Like even in eco, just look at the way this thing wafts. Just from 1,000 revs. It just builds speed so quickly. It's like driving a train. A bullet train, that is. Like foot down. And yeah, you'd lose your license fairly quickly in this thing. Alright, let's get the cruise control on and listen out for some wind noise, of which I can't hear any, which is good because this is a Mercedes E-Class. It's supposed to be quiet. Road noise is nice and low as well. Suspension just irons out every single bump in the road. It's just like, you know, there's something going on underneath you. You can't really tell what's going on, which is exactly what you want for motorway driving. Steering's nice and precise still. It just takes all the roughness out of the road. Visibility is also pretty good. I've seen better in some cars. You know, the B pillar is quite thick. A pillar is quite thick, but it's kind of curved, so you can see round it. But this car, being AMG Line Premium Plus, has a blind spot monitor, so there's nothing you really need to worry about there. I'd say you don't really even need one. It's really not that hard to see out of. Rearward visibility is also pretty good for a saloon. It's actually better than the BMW 5 Series. I noticed driving a F90 5 Series, the rear view mirror seems strangely zoomed in for some reason. Not sure why that is. But yeah, it's just... on the motorway, this thing really is fantastic. Such a good cruiser. Right, we're going to do 20 miles as usual, and I'll get back to you in about 15 to 20 minutes and see what kind of economy figures we can manage.
I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging on myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you.
Okay, motorway journey done. And we're sitting at 47 miles per gallon. I thought it was supposed to do quite a lot more than that. Well, I mean, the only excuse is maybe I haven't driven it for long enough. The figure's still going up. We're at 47.8 now. And fundamentally, it's a pretty good figure at the end of the day. It's just, I think, not quite what they quote. Maybe to get to that figure, you have to do a lot more miles. Oh yeah, 48.7 now. Okay, it is going up. So over a long journey, you're going to get over 50 miles per gallon, which is pretty decent out of a car that weighs 1.9 tons and has near enough 340 horsepower. I'd say that's a win-win there. Anyway, can this Mercedes E400 put a smile on my face? Let's get to a B road and find out. Okay, gone for individual, traction control is off. Let's see what this E400 is like. The torque from low down in this thing is just mega. Quite a bit of traffic, so I might have to give it a couple of minutes. We've got a gap. Oh my goodness, 4MATIC system is set up for understeer in this car, as you can hear. But my goodness, the power on tap is mighty. Even from low down in the RPM range. Like, okay, let's go from 5th gear 40, put your foot down, and it just pulls like a freaking train. Brakes are good. I actually prefer the brakes on Mercs when compared to BMWs. They're just a bit sharper. Bite point is nicer. It's only when you get to BMW M cars that the brakes start to get really good for BMW. But even their M lights, their brakes are just a little bit spongy, I think. Steering is okay, relatively positive, not totally inert. Kind of wants to sit there in a corner, which is nice. Alright, let me show you the torque of this thing. 5th gear, this lorry stays out of the way. Foot down from 40, and just look at that speedo climb. That's 70 already. And you've gone through like 1,000 revs doing that. I swear this engine is a bit of a monster. 700 newton meters of torque. Nice. My goodness. Yeah, it doesn't really want to oversteer. really doesn't want to oversteer, my goodness. I think I just cooked the front tyre then. It's interesting that, isn't it? So the E63S was very tail happy with the 4MATIC Plus system. This, with just the regular 4MATIC system, must have just been calibrated to just, you know, be safe really. Give you that all-wheel drive grip without being too leery. But yeah, trying to get this thing sideways, you'd have the Scandinavian flick it into a corner, I think, which you can't really do on public roads. Unless you're in Mexico, that is. It just has this very satisfying feeling from behind the wheel. Not boring, not fun, just satisfying. Just look at that. Very controlled. No drama. Just gets on with the job. I mean, personally, I'd like it to be a little bit, you know, more eager to let go at the rear. But anyone that buys something like this is probably not going to want that. You know, that's when you would go for an E63 or an E53, I suppose. This is supposed to just munch miles and just sit at high speeds on the Autobahn, and that's what it's very good at. Just that. Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, it understeers. There's a bit of Audi DNA in this thing. You never know, maybe if you put, you know, some different tyres on it, you might be able to get it to oversteer a bit, but it's not really what this car's about. It's about being safe and predictable, and that it is. Anyway, let's take this thing to a smaller B road and see how the suspension deals with some bigger bumps. Okay, let's have a looky. God, it is just monstrous, this engine. You can just hear it sucking air in. It's like... Suspension. Woohoo. Yeah, quite soft. Hard on the brakes. Nice. Sounds quite good, really, doesn't it? For a diesel. Get a nice whoosh of air. And you can certainly hit 60 before the corner. 4.7 seconds 0 to 60 in this thing. Yeah, the suspension is on the softer side, which means you do have to limit yourself a bit. This certainly isn't a BMW in terms of handling. It's predictable though. You know what it's going to do. That's the most important thing, I suppose. One last time. God. The torque low down keeps surprising me. You might see my head sort of go back a bit, but it's just that, like, whew. It is quite beastly. Hilarious. It's no track car, that's for sure. So you do have to be patient with it. But as a daily driver and for wafting on motorways, I think this is a brilliant car. It's nice and quiet, it's comfortable, it feels well built. which I have to say not a lot of Mercs these days do. I think you have to spend a certain amount of money and they give you like the premium building package where they actually give a crap about building the car properly. But yeah, anyway, a fantastic car. So let's digest it, have a think about it, and I'll come back to you with a conclusion.
Okay, so it's clear to me that this is very much set up for comfort. And actually, that's exactly what it should be set up for. It's not claimed to be any kind of performance car, so why should it be sliding all over the place? To me, this feels like a mini S-Class. Halfway house, if you will. You've got the engine and most of the things the S-Class offers in terms of tech. The only thing you're missing really is a bit of sound deadening, but by no means is it loud inside this thing. You know what? I think this is the E-Class you should buy. It's cheaper to run than you'd think, fast enough to surprise a lot of cars on the road, and a much more premium experience than the Mercedes E220. That last point I can't stress enough. It feels like a totally different machine. The E220 is the river cruiser, and the E400 is the ocean liner. As always, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a like and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which actually includes this rather nice Mercedes E400. My name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.